Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is in session. The court is in session with its jail review docket. On today's date of August 31st of 2023. First case that we have is cause number M332830. Case to style the state of Texas versus Jenna Catherine Aldrich. Ms. Aldrich, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Aldrich, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Aldrich, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Aldrich, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Ms. Aldrich?
Fine, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Ms. Aldrich, you're represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney Mark Faggart. Attorney Faggart, how are you doing?
I'm great, Your Honor. Thank you for asking.
Mr. Faggart, do you waive a record in Ms. Aldrich's case?
We do.
The state is represented in this case by Attorney Colby Hoffpower. Attorney Hoffpower, how are you doing?
Good, Jonathan, thank you.
You're welcome. Now, Ms. Aldrich, I have before me a document that is titled Information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information, it alleges that you, Gina Catherine Aldrich, on or about March 30th of 2022, while you were operating a motor vehicle in a public place in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed to Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more. Ms. Aldrich, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
And to this charge, Ms. Aldrich, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
I am.
Now, Mr. Fact, you have to check that other box. Mr.
You're talking about the A, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, Ms. Aldrich, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments, which is also labeled as State's Exhibit number 1. Do you recognize this document? Now, this document has one box that's checked. It states that this is a Class A misdemeanor. The range of punishment for a Class A misdemeanor is a minimum of 0 days to a maximum of 365 days in the county jail, a fine from minimum $0 to a maximum of $4,000, or a person could be given both such fine and confinement. Do you understand the range of punishment for a Class A misdemeanor?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of this, page 2 of this same document, there's a set of initials, JKA, on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of this same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
On the next document that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes that's checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargaining agreement and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir. I do.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up a right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir. I do.
Ms. Aldrich, I also have a document that is titled Discovery Certification on paper. Now, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Aldrich, before you signed and initialed all of these documents that I just showed you, did your attorney, Mr. Faggart, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir. I do.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir. I do.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir. I do.
Ms. Aldrich, Are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me states exhibit number one, the misdemeanor plea admonishment. State, would you like to offer states exhibit number one into evidence?
Yes, sir.
Any objections?
None, Your Honor.
No objections. States exhibit number one will be admitted into evidence. Mr. Faggot, you've advised and counseled Ms. Aldridge, is there any evidence that she is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None whatsoever, Your Honor.
Ms. Aldridge, your attorney, Mr. Faggot, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir, I am.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir, he does.
Ms. Aldridge, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, sir.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for plea of guilty in the contest, states agreed to recommend 90 days in jail, probated for 1 year, $1,000 fine, court costs, 60 hours community-based service, interlock device, and DFAT intervention class, and all of the terms and conditions. Standard for UWI.
Uh, Ms. Aldridge, the state is offering that You serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you'll not be required to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail on this case because you'll be placed on probation for a period of 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $1,000 plus court costs of $552. You'll be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month, a reimbursement fee of $15, and you'll be required to reimburse Jefferson County, the court-appointed attorney's fees of $250. You'll also be required to you'll be required to pay the initial DWI evaluation class fee of $125 should a further evaluation be needed. You'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, your total monthly installments, the total amount that you will be required to pay each month while you are on probation is $247 a month. Will you be able to pay the $247 each month?
Yes, sir, I have to.
No, my question is, are you able to pay the $247 each month?
Yes, Your Honor.
You are, okay. Now, you'll also be required to perform 60 hours of community service. You'll be required to install an interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate. You will also be required to attend and complete a DWI intervention program. You'll be required to have a drug and alcohol assessment and adhere to the other standard terms of DWI probation. Now, Ms. Aldridge, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir. I do.
Ms. Aldridge, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. This will conclude your case. If you do not have anything else holding you in jail, you should be getting out of jail today. And you're gonna stand next to your attorney in front of our clerk to finalize the paperwork. And once the paperwork is finalized, you can follow the bailiff and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Faggart, this will conclude your case. You're free to go. You have a blessed day as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Anything else?